real shame, because it was a really good example of how you can be a Muslim and actually be a Muslim for what being a Muslim is, rather than what like the Western world think a Muslim is.
How about yourself?
I'm complete atheist.
You're complete
atheist.
Okay.
And I like the idea of religion, but I just find generally it just doesn't work because of corruption.
No, it's the people that doesn't make it work.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So you don't have a problem with the actual religion?
Oh no, not at all.
Okay.
Like the idea is lovely. I mean, to me, I don't need the religion, but it's kind of a way of life. It's do this, these are good rules, you should do this, you shouldn't do this. Like, to me, that's great.
Yeah.
But it's when kind of power comes involved and it's corrupt, basically. What about you? Are you religious?
Depends. You know, you asked that question.
It's a weird question, isn't it?
Yeah, because people have different definitions of what religious is.
I could not agree more.
Because, like, someone will say, like, I'm a Muslim, yeah? So if a Muslim says, are you religious? What they mean is, are you practicing? Or do you pray 5 times a day?
Yeah.
Which is the basic requirements.
Yeah.
So that's what they're asking. And then there's other people that are doing it, and then they go, are you religious in terms of, like, are you going extra mile? And then there's some people who, you know, maybe have a different faith, and they say, are you religious? And I say, what do you mean? And they'll be like, well, I just mean, do you believe in God? And I'm like, well,
simplified much.
Yeah. So it's quite so in what sense do you mean it?
Any. Go on.
Yeah,
We've got like 30 minutes ahead of us, so you go ahead, mate.
I mean, I wouldn't class myself personally as religious.
But do you believe in a God or a
yeah, absolutely,
or,
yeah. I am a Muslim, yeah, by choice.
But you're, I guess, I mean, religion, basically. So there's people that believe in religion, and then there's people that believe in religion but based on what religion was thousands of years ago, and they abide by that regardless of how irrelevant it can be now.
Okay.
Because there's many, like, for example, with Islam, so say the whole don't eat pork thing originated because they're in hot countries, pork was cured. If you eat pork and you're in a desert, you're gonna be really thirsty and you can't drink, so you're probably gonna die of thirst.
Okay.
It's like stuff like that, like there was a point and a reason.
No, but pork itself, first of all, when you look at the contents of halal food and stuff like that, the characteristics of a pig, it's not of a nature that's peaceful.
No.
So you hear the expression, you are what you eat.
Yeah.
So pigs are like one of the foulest animals that you can find.
This is my point. Like, there's a reason to it.
Right.
And it made a lot more sense then than it does now because of like farming and rules and whatever. Like you can't feed people this because it's not clean enough or whatever.
Yeah. And
there's a lot of rules. And I'm not talking about Islam. I'm just talking about generally religion and rules.
Sure.
Like a lot of rules with religion are obviously based on rules that were set thousands of years ago because of how it works. That's just how it goes.
Okay, but here's the thing. Pork was bad for you there, but it's like wherever you are in the world, it's still going to be bad for you, regardless of the climate or whatever region in the world you're in, right?
Yeah, no, I agree.
So that still stands, doesn't it? As a rule.
It does. It
say with alcohol, like it says, the religion says, look, there is a lot of benefits and advantages in alcohol.
This is what I love about Islam, is the whole rules on alcohol. It's like drink, but be sensible. That's kind of the original, like yonks ago, like how it started. It was,
okay.
And then people took too much, and then they banned it. It wasn't like alcohol is bad. It's the attitude.
Okay,
towards it.
when the revelation was revealed in terms of the alcohol,
yeah.
Here's the thing: it didn't just come out straight away and say alcohol is bad. And
no.
Because you know, you have to kind of, if it was a religion that was just like pure rules and regulations,
this is bad, don't do this.
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah.
people wouldn't follow it.
No, of course.
But
there's got to be reason behind
exactly.
it.
So the first concept was about the oneness of God. You have a call?
Sorry, one. No. Sorry, no, go on.
Yeah, so the first concept was about the oneness of God, which was the major difference, and it came to the religion came to liberate the people from what they had been doing with paganism. Yeah. And so rules and regulations and stuff came after. So basically, it came with the reminder which every prophet had come with, the same message: that there is only one God, to worship one God.
Yeah.
And then the rules and stuff, legislation and all that came afterwards.
Yeah.
And immediately, I mean, the companions of the prophet even immediately when revelation was revealed that, you know, this is bad for you, they spat it out. They threw up because they didn't want any part of it.
Yeah.
And it said that there is a lot of benefits to alcohol. You know, you can you can be used to sterilize things and everything else. Yeah, but there is more disadvantages to you. So for that reason, it's better that you stay clear of it.
Yeah.
And if you look at today, and you look at the youth today,
I mean, if people abided by that today, everything would be a lot better.
Right. Exactly. These youth, like, you know, the maturity of the people in those days, you know, like it's nothing in comparison to today. I mean, we have 40-year-olds playing PlayStation. You know, 10-year-olds that were getting engaged and getting married and stuff. Because, you know, even if you take an example like now, if you look at a 5-year-olds here, right? They're helpless. They talk too much. They ask too much questions, but they're still fragile and they don't really, you know, they can't. They need to be nurtured and whatever. Yeah. If you go to Africa and you see a 5-year-old who's actually working and picking up so and so and this, that, and the other, and he's like the man of the house. Yeah. The mentality is completely different.
It's so different.
Yet they're exactly the same in terms of like, there's a boy. His age is 5. His age is 5. So, you know, it's all about the maturity and stuff.
Absolutely.
So the nations before it was permissible for them to have alcohol and stuff, but you know, it was obviously seen that in the future you'd have huge problems if the Muslims and everyone else was drinking, and it kind of speaks for itself. I mean, I'm driving along and I see people.
This is exactly my point. Like a lot of it makes so much sense.
So what is
logical?
What is the thing that you have a problem with?
It's not Islam. It's just I mean, basically, most people who are religious, like yourself, like my dad is a Muslim. Okay. Most people that are religious, I think that's great, and they have set rules that they live their life by, and they're good rules, and they're good people, and I think that's great. It's just when it becomes, I guess, corrupt or tainted, all of that. Okay. Or when someone doesn't quite understand it and they live their life a certain way, and then they kind of judge other people.
Okay, but it really sounds like what you're doing is you're taking a car, a beautiful car, and you're judging it based on the driver instead of the car.
No. Like no. Don't get me wrong. Like the actual religion, pretty much all religions. Yeah. Actually, I find Catholicism very weird because of the whole I'm only doing this because if I don't, I will go to hell. Mm-hmm. Like, I find that bad. You shouldn't be nice because if you're not, you'll get punished. Right. I find that odd.
But here's the thing with that, if you don't mind me making a counter.
No, please do, yeah.
Okay, the thing with that is, like, if you look at the revelations, whether it be the Bible, the Torah, and Quran, and I assume that you know that it's obviously from the same God, and it came down.
Course. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what it is you see, with that method, that with the psychology of man, we've always used that in terms of, like, even like our parents, they'll say, look, don't do this or you're gonna get smacked, right? Don't do that or you're going to get smacked. And even today, like, don't do that, otherwise you're going to get in trouble with the police. Don't do that, you're going to end up in jail.
You won't be able to
right.
go to uni.
So this is the way to kind of motivate people, because there are some characteristics that will actually stay in line from that kind of a threat or a promise, if anything.
No, I completely agree.
And then there's some people that you kind of like, you tell them, look, if you do this, like for example, when we were kids, if you do your homework, you'll get a treat, you'll get so and so, right? And that inspires people and motivates them to do good, right? Yeah. Because that's how some people react to things. Yeah, so likewise, you have heaven and you have all things that are on offer and stuff, right? Yeah. And then on the flip side of that, you have another side, which is because it makes logical sense. Yeah. So for example, alcohol, people will not understand because they'll be like, oh, this feeling is so great, you know?
Sorry, one second, mate.
Sure.
Hello? Okay, never mind. Go on.
Yeah, so like, you know, with like alcohol or being like promiscuous or whatever, sure, these are 5-minute pleasures and they're great and stuff, but in the long run they will damage you. So if there is logical, if you can like see what it is that your creator is telling you, is warning you from, because it's not about the hellfire or heaven. It's because like you're going to destroy yourself if you do this. It will change the way you think, it will change the way you look at women, you will treat them like shit, it's not good for society, etc. right? So there are 3 main ways to kind of communicate, and we use the psychology regardless of religion anyway. Of course. So who would know better to convey a message or to speak to us or to reach us than the one that created us? That's why it's put in that format, that's why it's put in that way. No,
I completely get it, and I completely understand what you're saying, and I kind of do agree with it. It's just personally, I don't need set rules to tell me this is how you should live or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, I consider myself a decent person. I do a lot of stuff for other people. I'm generally a nice person. I don't need rules based on religion to tell me this is how you do it. But
you do realise you follow those rules regardless if you believe it or not, right?
I follow very similar rules based on being a good person.
I mean, rules that have derived from religion, you follow naturally anyway.
Not necessarily rules derived from religion. Sorry. Hello? What? Hello? Sorry. Go on. Right, where were we?
Okay, so I was saying about certain rules that are derived from religion. That we follow. Okay, so then, let me ask you, what is your thoughts on, do you think ancestry is acceptable, it's okay to do?
Incest as in like family banging?
No. Okay, why?
I mean, I'm basing that on, firstly, it's gross. And
but why though?
Also on science.
But before we had the science to prove misfits.
I wasn't around then.
No, but what I'm saying is, like in time, if we didn't have religion, I'm saying a world without religion and going off like your ideology of things that we just kind of govern ourselves.
Like, incest isn't bad because of religion. Incest is bad whether you're religious or not.
No, of course. But what I'm saying is that there was no governance to actually tell us that don't do this and because it's going to lead to that before religion.
Well, it's science.
But what I'm saying is that science wasn't there to prove that there was misfits and stuff. I mean, sure, you could try these things by trial and error, but if you look at it like, okay, look at the benefits. First of all, the benefits.
Wait, the benefits of incest, or?
Yeah, the benefits of incest. Because
wait, so you're pro-incest? Is this what
no. What I'm saying.
So no, I've misunderstood.
What I'm saying is that if you look at it in terms of like if there's no. I mean, how would you judge a situation? Or whether it's good or bad? You'd weigh up the pros and cons, isn't it? Right? And if there's more pros,
about whether you're being a dick by doing it or whether you're being a nice person by doing it.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. So, which I guess is very similar with when you talk about it from a religious point of view, except you have set rules,
set guidelines too,
and I have set guidelines, and my guidelines are based on morality. Basically, which
and
religion is based on.
Okay.
morality generally, like this is good, this is bad.
Yeah.
And that's how I base what I do on.
Okay.
I base it on this is good and this is bad, not because...
Okay, but here's the thing: how do you define what's good when we ourselves have got flaws?
Everyone has flaws, of
Exactly.
course.
So then how
I
do we
define what's good and bad based on this might sound a little bit arrogant, but I feel like I've been brought up very well, and I've been surrounded by people who are decent people.
Okay.
And I mean, just generally, like kids generally know what's right and wrong.
Okay.
Generally, like religion aside, they just know that if I punch this kid to get his sweets, that's bad.
Sure.
If I pick this kid up because he fell over, that's good. That's just being human. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just a human trait. That's what you do, and it's that side that I base what I do on, and I guess it's response. So you'll do something and you'll get a good response and people will respond nicely to it, or you'll do something that's a bit mean and they'll respond negatively to it.
Okay, but what I'm saying is that, look, if you...
By the way, anywhere here, but I really want to carry on this conversation.
Sure.
So keep driving or stop or whatever.
Yeah, let's do it. What I'm saying is, like, ancestry, right? It's for us, and if we look back, like,
when you say us, you mean from a religious point?
Yeah, from religious point of view, or even human beings. If we look at the rulings, like certain like legislation, even common laws now, they all derived from religion. Because before any governance of like in society and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, governance kind of started from religion because way back religion was used as a tool to control people.
Right. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. So all these rules come from religion, essentially, doesn't it?
And most of them make a lot of sense.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So without that ruling, that original ruling. If you look at it like in terms of ancestry, there's more pros than there are cons if you're using protection and stuff.
What pros to
do it? Yeah.
Based
people
on
don't.
who's saying there's more pros in sense of what, religion or non-religion or?
Not in obviously non-religion, because religious people would obviously go by their own set guidelines and stuff that this is wrong, right? But what I'm saying is that as us human beings, right? You know, like we're male and we need, we have needs and stuff like that, right? Of course. There's a woman, okay, she's our sister, but that aside, if we look at the animal kingdom and we see what's natural,
animals don't give a shit about whether they're religious.
Well, that's it though. That's what I'm saying. I mean, they don't, because they just
I'm confused because you're anti-incest, obviously, but then you're bringing up like animals, and then it's like, oh, that's fine because they're animals. No, my point is this: that if we're gonna do what's natural, if you look at the animal kingdom, a female dog, I don't want to say the rude word, she will have a litter of pups. And after a couple of months, they're brothers and sisters, but they'd be banging each other. Yeah, and they'd be reproducing. Yeah. So that's natural. Right? That is natural, yeah.
That's natural, okay? So if we're going to do what's natural as human beings and we don't need no guidelines and no governance, then surely we would follow.
Your point. Right. I get your point now.
Okay.
It's like if we haven't got these guidelines, then we'll be doing that.
Yeah.
And then that's bad, so...
Exactly.
I get your point.
Yeah.
I completely
So what's stopping
that.
what's stopping us from doing that, right? Okay, you mentioned that, because there's the science and the misfits and stuff like that. But if you use protection, it's perfectly fine then, isn't it?
It's still pretty gross. Though,
it's gross because we know it's gross. But
yeah,
how do we know it's gross? It's because it's embedded in our mind that it's gross. But really and truly, if you take away that, and if you take away those rulings and stuff like that, and you just look at it like, okay, I'm a man, I've got needs. There's a woman, yes, she's my sister, but so what? Animals do it.
You've got a very good point, but also the same applies to people that aren't religious. They'd have that same viewpoint.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's not. I mean, essentially, your point is we need guidelines.
Yeah,
That's your point.
My point is like, right? Obviously, like, I believe in a creator and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So, and you don't, right?
No.
Okay. So, from my perspective, what I'm saying is that if there's a creator and we have a purpose, then surely we wouldn't, you know, we're not here just like free roaming for no reason. We should be, I mean, we do have free will, so we are, but we should know what our purpose is. And our purpose is being given to us in forms of revelation. Those revelations tell you how to live your life, how to get the best out of life, how to not destroy yourselves. And part of that are these rules to tell you this is your boundaries and this is what's going to happen, so and so. And and obviously using the psychology that I told you before to motivate people to do it the logical way, or to do it the way, you know, if you don't do it, then this is what's going to happen, and if you do it, then you're rewarded this way. So that's, you know, that's my point of view of where I'm coming from.
And you know what, I completely agree with this. Like, this is exactly the same as me for my life, except when I'm doing it, I'm having exactly the same thing, but it's not based on there being one being that has said this. It's based on experience and how I've been brought up and who I know, and it's all in. But
you've been brought up by people that are of
my dad's a Muslim,
right?
My dad's a Muslim, my mum's atheist, so I've got the perfect balance between the two. So I understand everything. I get either side. And a lot of people I know are very religious as well.
So what's your thoughts about how we came about?
I mean, I don't. But I'm very scientific based in my reasons, like why it's happened and how it's happened. So I believe in like the Big Bang and all of this. But I mean, whatever way you think of it. So say so you believe God created everything. So what came before God?
Nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how can you comprehend nothing? I can't.
Okay, because here's the thing. First of all, our definition of nothing is different.
Well, no, I mean,
because your definition of nothing is scientifically speaking, it's the absence of something. Okay?
Yeah.
But our definition of nothing is that there is not a thing there. So when we say absence of, when we say nothing, it doesn't mean, like, you must have heard of what the what's it called, the quantum vacuum test, where they try to recreate and stuff like that. So I think it was Professor Krauss. What they was doing when they was doing this test, was they were saying, oh look, something can come from nothing, but what they was failing to acknowledge or even show and display, that there was energy, there was an atmosphere still present there.
But this is what
that is something. Me. That is something
because,
there, isn't it?
That was there, but then before that.
That's what I'm saying. You see,
like human minds can't. You can't.
No, we can't. But this is. But we've been told. Okay, like in terms of like definition of God and how he started. Now he's the. I mean, your dad's Muslim, so you must have.
Oh no, I understand all of this.
Okay, so by definition, he is uncreated. Yeah, and he doesn't fall into the laws and the boundaries that are set for us. Likewise,
this is what I love about it, because that is an explanation. You can understand that, and it's like.
But it's likewise. It's like, look, if you were to create a computer game, and your character could breathe underwater, it could fly and stuff like that. Your computer game isn't. You know, you're not set by the boundaries that you put in this computer game. So there is a distinction between the creator and the creation.
Yeah.
So you don't have to abide by those rules. Right. So likewise, God is far beyond creation, and he doesn't work in the capacity that we can even we can comprehend. What we've been told,
it's just impossible. You can't.
We can't do it because we're limited on our scope. Exactly. Right. So what God does, because we believe life is a test, it would be a bit silly if, you know, God came in front of us and said, okay, this is a test, by the way, you haven't seen me, I'm out of it, right? But likewise, he's not this like abandoned landlord. He's just put us here and he's gone. He's given us signs to see and to acknowledge. So okay, the Big Bang, right? What is the earliest record that you know of about this theory of the Big Bang?
No, I don't know.
You don't know? Okay.
I don't know the years.
Okay, but do you have a
billions of years ago
that they had this estimate?
Well, I mean, the Big Bang.
Not when it happened. No, the estimate has been.
As in the first time theory, someone thought of. Right. I don't know, probably like a few hundred, like 100 years ago, maybe. Okay. I don't know. Guess.
Let's say 100. Let's say
100 years.
Let's say 500 years.
Okay. Yeah.
The Quran speaks about this 1400 years ago, and it also speaks about something.
The Quran's based on people that have written it. People wrote the Quran. Human beings wrote the Quran, of course.
In terms of the actual writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're writing it based on what's happened before.
But the message is the literal sense of God's words. Like, God was giving revelation to Prophet Muhammad, and it was, you know, his prophethood was 23 years. Yeah. As soon as he received revelation, he would go out and tell it to someone.
Yeah.
Making it uncorruptible in terms of, like, you know, like with the Bible.
It's been said, and
it's been said, and there's no way you can alter it or change it because you've gone out and you've said it.
Because now it exists.
Right, and it was in audio form for 10 years. And after, sorry, it was in audio form, and then 10 years after the Prophet had died, that he constructed it in the book.
Yeah.
So his companions knew the surahs and the chapters and stuff like that, and they compiled it after, right? Making it virtually impossible to kind of alter and stuff like
how can you go against this? It's been said.
It's been said, and it's been announced as well in front of people. So there's no way you can start. Basically. Right, exactly. So like something that is written by man, first of all, that long ago, there's no way it would be preserved.
I disagree with that, but I get your point.
Okay, but what I'm saying is that, you see,
I love how passionate you are about this, by the way. I absolutely love that. That's incredible.
Okay.
I'm not taking bits at all. That is really great how passionate you are about this.
Thank you. Yeah, but I mean, like, see, here's the thing. Like, I was, my mum's Catholic. Yeah. And I went to a Church of England school. I went to a Catholic school. And, you know, in Islam, religion is not compulsion. It's not something that should be forced upon you. At the end of the day...
Unfortunately, in most countries that teach it is.
Right. Okay. But I mean, that's... Yeah, no, that's fine. But I mean...
But you agree with that, right? Like, it is forced. Like, most religion is forced upon people. That is my main issue with religion.
Right. But here's on the flip side of that, if there was a single country that was actually following the Islamic way, or the Sharia law, which is God's law...
actually proper...
Then we wouldn't have things like poverty and certain crimes and stuff. I mean,
if you say that about most religions or most good thoughts.
Yeah, but those people that are representing the religions, they're not carrying it through.
No.
So they're a bad representation of the religion. As it is.
Humans are the flaw. That's why everything's wrong.
Exactly. Humans are the flaw, and and the reason why there's so much problems, like, for example, Palestine and stuff like that.
Dodgy interpretations.
Like, look, you have these really rich Arabs, that their wealth is just amazing.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy, and you know, like, they own like 8% of America because they just, you know, they.
And then the Jews own the rest of it.
Right. But if they really wanted to help their brothers or kind of liberate their people or save them from what they're going through, they could have done it so simply.
It's all, but that's political bullshit, though. That's all. That is.
Because everyone's for themselves. But if they were following the religion, like it says, okay, 2.5% every year of your wealth will eradicate every poverty that there is.
So this is all religion. Like America is obviously very Christian, and that fucks it all up at the same time, because their whole thing is, as all religion, generally the gist is be a decent person.
Right.
That is generally the rules, regardless of what religion it is. It is generally be a nice person and try and make stuff better. Yeah.
But the difference with that is that, you know, in terms of the contents of their book, every so often, someone will come along and they will add an alteration to it. So what's essentially happening is that the message is not only getting changed, but you see in Islam, you know, when I said it was preserved, it's like God has told us, and it's like this, okay? So now it's not up to us to change the word of God. It's up to us to change ourselves to fit the word of God. Yeah. So that we should, if it was revealed in Arabic, and it's a very in-depth language, it's you know, it's quite vast, right? So we should learn that if we want to get the full concept. I mean, you can get the translations of the Quran and stuff like that, no problem. But if you really want to, if you want a literal sense, and if you want to see the linguistic miracles and really appreciate it, then you should learn the language that it was revealed in. Yeah, and that's what we do. That's what millions of people are doing.
Billions.
And I'll tell you the difference between the three mainstream religions. Yeah, and this is one thing that, you know, if you really think about it, yeah, if we had a tyrant ruler that came here and said, okay, have you seen the film the Book of Eli?
Yeah. Right.
So all the books were destroyed, isn't it? Yeah. Now, if all the books were destroyed, yeah, and they said, okay, rewrite your book, if they told the Christians, for example, yeah, rewrite your book, they wouldn't be able to do it. And I'll tell you why. Because even if the person knows it off by heart, not everyone agrees on the contents.
Yeah.
They have so many different versions.
But that's the same with Islam.
No, the Quran is one version. You can get a 6-year-old from China and a 6-year-old from Africa,
agree,
and they can rewrite the whole
it's
Quran.
Interpretation, though, and that's the issue.
The interpretation, but the actual words, it's
Yeah, but if you go on the original Bible, that would be the same. If you go on the original Torah, that would.
But what is the original? If we had originals, we wouldn't have the last revelation.
But yeah,
that would be our argument. I mean, if you had,
I completely agree with you. But
I mean, the original didn't say.
It's so hard for me because I completely agree with every time I have this conversation. It's exactly this, and I completely agree with what everyone says to me.
Yeah.
But then I also have my view, and it's really hard because.
Tell me what's your view. So tell me what's.
I think people are the issue. Human beings are the issue.
I agree.
And they corrupt shit, and it's like ISIS.
Yeah.
Like completely warped Islam, and they're not Muslims.
No.
How can you murder people and say you're a Muslim?
See, here's the thing.
That's not
too long ago, what we knew ISIS to be was the Israeli Secret Intelligence Service.
Yeah, and exactly.
Now, if you have an organization which is ISIS, first of all, it's very bizarre because you have Al Qaeda, you have Taliban, which obviously Taliban means student stuff. You have these kind of like Arab words or whatever, yeah. And they're very Islamic sounding. But ISIS is very easy for the English person or the Westerner to kind of...
This is what's
why would
pissing
you
me
call
off about it.
You know, it doesn't make sense. And
that's what annoys me.
And there's people that, you know...
just so simplified, and it's not that fucking simple.
And yeah, exactly. And there's people that are on the ground, they're aid workers, yeah? They knew about ISIS. They're very small movement. Yet somehow they were so elevated and given so much airtime. It's unbelievable. So
this shit's been going on for fucking years.
Yeah, the source. First of all, the source can't be trusted. So it's even hard. It's kind of hard to.
I hate BBC. I hate BBC. You know, I actually like fucking Al Jazeera. Because it actually
what about Russia Today?
Unbiased.
You like RT as well?
I don't listen to Russian Today, but I feel like I should do.
Yeah, I listen to RT.
Al Jazeera, it's just generally like, this is the world, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
Whereas BBC is fucking political.
RT's pretty good, but obviously they're a bit biased when they talk about themselves.
Yeah.
You know, when it's about Russia. But everything else, they're kind of like, I don't give a shit, I'm just going to kind of say how it is.
They're not involved.
Yeah.
Guys.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but BBC is
shit.
terrible.
It's
terrible.
Fucking awful.
It's so.
So my whole issue is people and politics and power and all this bullshit.
Well, those that I would consider religious. Yeah. First of all, they never get no airtime.
It's a very similar system.
Yeah, basically. But you'd never see them getting any airtime. And here's the thing.
Wait, never see who get an airtime?
Religious Muslims. They would never get no airtime. Those
as in like true religious Muslims.
Yeah.
Like as in people that actually believe in the laws and aren't dicks.
People that would be great ambassadors or people that people would like kind of like say, this is a representative.
About the terrorists.
Right, exactly. And here's the thing, man, you know, like I don't trust no news station to kind of teach me about any religion. Because the only thing it talks about is how bad Islam is. I don't even recognize the religion.
It's not fucking Islam.
Yeah, it doesn't make no sense.
They're just fucking insane people that are using certain rules to abuse their power and corrupt everything else.
That's it.
And then you get fucking moron Americans that are like, oh, Islam, that's that. No, that's not.
Exactly.
It's bullshit. It's the equivalent of like an insane Christian like killing people because they're in a cult and they think if we're going to kill them we'll go to heaven or whatever. It's as ridiculous as that. Like there's no link between that and the actual thing.
Yet they're dumbing people down and certain people are just like silly enough to kind of...
That's what fucks me off is because it's fucking everything up. Because stupid people are like, oh, Muslims, they're terrorists. And then they'll be dicks, and then people that are on the cusp of becoming like extreme, that will give them reason to think, oh well, fuck these Westerners, whatever, and then it just feeds into itself. And then while this is all going on, you have the normal, good, decent Muslims who are just living their life and being decent people, and then they're getting dragged into this bullshit and then it becomes a bigger problem. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. It fucks me off so much. I'm so annoyed by it. And because, like I said, because I'm from Turkey, and Turkey is becoming shitter and shitter and shitter, because this stuff is happening more and more and more.
Yeah.
And the government that are in power are Muslims, which is fine, but they're actually quite extremist, but they're covering it up, and then now they're in power, and they're... absolute power corrupts absolutely. Regardless of religion, regardless of anything, that is how it works. And
people here, they're doing it the Islamic way, and that puts people off the religion as well.
Yeah, and
it's
a fucking beautiful religion.
Yeah.
The ideas, the mentality is wonderful, and I don't believe I have a very similar viewpoint to everything, very similar to Islam.
Yeah.
Like how my outlook and how I treat people and how I expect people to treat me. Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Very, very kind of giving and loving, basically. That's how I see Islam, because of my dad and because I know it.
But what's this thing with you? And so you don't believe in a creator? You don't believe in God?
No.
You is a specific reason as to why you don't?
No, I just think basically I'm very logical and rational, and I think if, say, there was a creator, that would explain a lot. But then where did that guy come from?
The creator. So the fact that you don't understand that he's uncreated is something that...
Well, I guess it's like the whole human beings can't understand infinity.
Yeah.
So like, oh, there's space that goes there, but then what's after that? That, but then what's after that? That, but then what's after that? Like that, but a very.
But that is
similar
actually
thing.
that same argument is the actual argument used when we say that there is only one God. Because if there was more than one God, and who created that and who created that? Yeah, and it goes on and on and on. So by definition, we say God is uncreated.
That is the beginning.
That's the beginning and the end.
Yeah, which I completely understand, but at the same time, like, well, where did he come from? Do you know? Can you understand?
I get what you mean, but it's like you said that we can't you can't phantom what infinity means, because we, by definition, our laws we have like
finite time. This tomorrow.
Yeah, we have boundaries today, and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but likewise, we don't witness in our human experience things coming out of nothing.
No.
And yet, if we speak about the Big Bang, this is something that it becomes, using that, it becomes illogical as well, because
no, I know.
But you
this is
so then how come
conundrum.
So what makes you more comfortable about something coming out of nothing?
Because with my what I believe, so Big Bang, whatever, there's a lot of things that have there's evidence that these things happened, and that human beings have been around for thousands of years, and dinosaurs for 100 millions of years or whatever, and there's like fossils, and you can date them, carbon dating, like that this happened at this point, and then it's like, well,
but using that same method, the way you're collecting the evidence, one could also say that you could see the signs of God, and you don't have to actually witness him being there or making that to kind of come to that conclusion.
Of course, you can apply the same rules to both.
So
it's basically, there was someone I watched the other day. It was like a sitcom or something, and there was a religious guy, and he was trying to disprove evolution.
Yeah.
And his thing, he was saying, so you base what you believe on some men that lived before you, based on some books that they wrote and stuff that they thought, but yet that's science, so that exists. And then like this other guy was like, but you're basing it on some guy who wrote the Bible, who said this, and it's the same. It's a very similar way of looking at stuff.
Yeah.
Yet weirdly, they're so different. So like from a religious point of view, it's faith, but from a science point of view, it's evidence-based. But it's not actually evidence, because if you go far back enough, there's not actually evidence for it.
Okay, what about how would you explain the scientific miracles in the Quran then?
Name me one, and I'll
for example, embryology.
What do you mean embryology?
Like embryology meaning like, you know, the detailed stages of
the embryo.
Of the embryo, yeah. So sperm, egg, grows.
But I mean, I can't.
This is something that we've recently found out due to the science, that the day and age that we're in, technology and stuff like that, right? We have microscopes, so we can see that small. We can go through the stages and stuff, yeah. And obviously, to the naked eye, this is impossible to see, yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't have the technology then. Yet in the Quran, it's mentioned this 1400 years ago, that the detailed stages, and it uses words like, you know, a leech-like substance, where if you study the embryology, the embryo, you'll see, first of all, in the early days it actually looks like a leech, and it sucks the blood like off its host, like an embryo would.
Parasite, basically. I mean,
yeah, like a parasite.
What kids are,
yeah. Right, exactly. So this is something that is been
described. There's a really similar thing with Islam as well, to do with space. What is it? It's to do with
universe expanding.
Yeah, and also
the orbits.
Yeah, like before, like it was established that the Earth went round the sun.
Yeah.
After Islam had already said that, and like they knew that before scientists discovered that.
These are signs that God says.
I completely get it. I completely get it. I get why people would believe that, and I completely. Even
the world the shape of the world is like an ostrich egg.
Yeah.
When it wasn't that long ago when everyone was saying that the world was flat. Yeah. So how can here's the thing. The you know, like we said earlier, yeah, that humans have flaws and stuff, yeah. So if you're gonna construct a book, there's gonna have to be one flaw or one contradiction.
Yeah.
Because in every other revelation there is.
Of course, always.
But in the Quran it can't be found. And there's a challenge in there as well.
But there will be.
But there's a challenge in there. 80% of it has been proven by science. The only 20% that hasn't been is because science is still a baby in comparison. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Mate, no, the thing is, I agree. This is the thing. Like, I agree with what you're saying. I agree with what my dad says. I agree with all of this, and I just don't.
But how do you turn away from these signs that are being shown? I mean, you know,
because
you told me yourself.
I generally base it on science, and I think how can there be one guy, say guy, girl, whatever, it could be anything. Yet how can there be so much horrible shit that goes on in the world?
But this is free will, my friend.
Yeah, but it's not
how could
free
you
will.
how could you have a
wait, you say free will?
Yeah.
So a little kid gets raped. How is that his free will?
Okay, let me explain. If we didn't have we have a just God, yeah? We have a God who's fair. Now, if I was
I disagree, because I think that's not fair.
Okay, no, but what I'm saying is this, like if I was to, for example, if I was to punch you right now, yeah? If God didn't intervene, if God intervened, how can I be judged upon that? Because it never happened.
Yeah, but like...
Do you get what I'm saying? So if that person is going to rape that child,
okay,
yeah?
So say that's just some weird little flat there. Mm-hmm. Say a little kid just got lost, walked past, and some creepy fucking guy dragged this kid into his house and raped him.
Yeah, which it does happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How if I was God, I would not let that happen.
Right.
I would not allow it because that's fucked.
Okay.
Yet, if there's a God and he's allowing that to happen,
so it's God's fault and not the person that did that.
Well, God created the person.
But God created everything.
Yeah.
He even created the
He cannot create that person.
But he even created the one that whispers in your ear to tempt you to not do it. But there's two ways written. There's the right way and there's the wrong way.
If you're creating everything, why create the people that are cunts? Because
life is a test. That's what it's all about.
Why should it be?
But that's what it's all about.
If you have ultimate power and you can create everything, why would you not just create it perfect? Why would you not just create people like you or me, or like decent people that you meet? Just create them. Don't create rapists or murderers or just nasty people generally.
I don't think
do you see my point with that though?
No, but people are created innocent. Everyone is created innocent. But how they get corrupted is another story.
No, some people have it unfair. So there are people who become horrible people because of how they were brought up,
right?
Which they have no control over.
Okay, but that's not God's fault. That's the people that did that.
But God created the people that did that.
But like I said, God created everything.
Yeah.
So,
exactly. So God created awful shit.
God created everything.
God created rapists.
There's obstacles there, you know.
Yeah, but there's people who have no choice. They were born in this life. They were raised by these parents, and because of that, they had no hope of not being a rapist or not being a horrible person.
So then it's their parents.
They had no choice.
So then it's their parents that have failed them, innit? So, so the test was on them.
Say that kid got brought up that way, had nothing to do with it. He had no choice. So what hope has he got?
No, but if you had stuck to the guidelines and the rules that were set.
Yeah, but that kid doesn't choose that.
No, but the parents do.
Yeah, but the kid doesn't.
Yeah, but that's when a child is helpless. Like I've got children, yeah.
Yeah.
My children are my responsibility.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I do wrong, yeah, if they go astray, it means I've done something wrong.
Yeah, but
because they are my test.
But
until they're of age, to do whatever, you know,
they choose.
Yeah, they choose and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's when it becomes
my point. So, okay, so I won't use you as an example because that's horrible. So, okay, so God created, say her name's Sarah.
Yeah.
And God created.
Don't use Sarah because my daughter's name.
Oh, okay, shit. God created Catherine.
Yeah.
Can I use Catherine? Yeah. And God created Robert. Can I use Robert?
Yeah.
And Robert and Catherine got together. They got a bit weird. They had kids. And they brought their kids up really fucking badly. Their kids had no chance. And their kids were just fucked. Like, didn't feed them properly. Didn't treat them well. Their kids became horrible people.
Yeah.
They had no choice in that.
Yeah, the kids are innocent. No doubt. Yeah.
But they became arseholes. Whose fault was that? God created the adults.
Who failed them?
Their parents.
Right.
But God created the parents.
And that's why they'd be judged.
Because God created the horrible parents who...
No, God created the opportunity for them to do either right
or
wrong.
The kids had no choice.
I'm not talking about the kids, I'm talking about the parents.
No, but the kids had no... This is my point.
Okay, you're saying...
The kids had no choice.
Okay, so you're saying because of that...
They had no chance.
Okay, so you're saying from those tragic experiences... it led them to be horrible people and whatnot, yeah.
Which they had no control
But not everyone turns out to be that way.
No, of course they don't. Thankfully, they don't.
Yeah, exactly. So that can't be an excuse.
Those kids, they become like rapists or murderers or whatever. But they had no control.
Of course, but